Okay, so I just finished watching Sirens, which is the new show coming out on Netflix, and it's surprising. It didn't go the places I thought it was gonna go, but I loved the place that it ended in. And yeah, let's get into it.
Sirens is your new messy obsession. Sisters, secrets, and scandal on a billionaire's private island. Simone's ditched her old life to serve her glamorous boss, Michaela. But things heat up when her estranged sister Devon shows up, and Simone's lies starts coming out. By the end, Michaela gets dethroned. Simone chooses power over suffering. Devon leaves and chooses a life with her father in his final days in Buffalo. And Simone fully steps into the chaos, with heels on.
So, one of my first thoughts, or one of the first things I wanted to talk about was I saw everyone online. They were saying they wanted the show to go in a cult direction. And I understood that because as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, Michaela's evil, everyone is evil. And as we see things unfold, it wasn't the case. It was far from it. And we all wanted Michaela to be a monster. And I wanted to dissect why that is. I think it's because it's a rich environment. We want rich people to be horrible. We want billionaires to be greedy little pricks that just gobble up all this money and they don't help the poor or anything like that. And that's farthest from the truth. You have scenes where Michaela gives back to charity. You have scenes where Peter, who's her husband, talk about how much money he's given to charity as well. And it's a very protected world. Going to Devon, she really expected Simone to be in a bad situation because Simone is acting very different, very preppy. The costume designs, they had it contrasting where Devon is in these dark clothes and Simone is bright in white pastel colors, and everything is so airy and majestical, and it's too good to be true, and we get that vibe. And we just wanted everything to be unreal. Sometimes life can be so hard, we forget that it can be a little bit easier for someone else. We all have highs and lows, right? And going to the point where Devon found her pills, Simone's pills that she was supposed to be taking as medication for her trauma or her mental issues, she wasn't taking them, and I was along with Devon. I was following the journey. I was like, yeah, this place is horrible. These people are acting so weird, and she's not taking her pills. So obviously, she is so caught up in Michaela's world, and everything's wrong. And that's furthest from the truth. When we had that scene with Devon and Simone, where Simone actually says to her that her doctor, ever since she was 13 years old, a little girl, actually got to a point where he could have taken her off the medication. And that is absolutely amazing. To see someone at the end of a therapy journey or at the end of a healing journey is absolutely amazing to hear, and it's sometimes so unbelievable. And that's not even a thought in Devon's head when she sees the pills. I didn't even think about it. I was like, no, that's crazy. And even to the point of since she's completely off her medication and she doesn't need them anymore, she hasn't completely thrown it away and hasn't said, yeah, I don't need them, and completely ignored that, but she still has them if she ever needs it. And I think that's a big healing step as well. But Simone still has a lot more healing to go, and we'll get into that in a second. Alright, so I wanted to talk about Devon for a bit. So, going to the end, I don't know how I feel when I think about it. How do I feel about Devon going back to her old life? I think not everyone wants to escape and run from her problems, like Simone, what Simone's doing. And I think Devon also has a bit of trauma with every time that she tries to run away from her problems, the situation just gets worse. For example, when she tried to go to school and live her life there, her little sister, her mom died, killed herself and tried to take her little sister's life as well. And that's very traumatizing. And then even with the drinking, she's trying to run from that, but then she gets repercussions with getting arrested for driving drunk, and she's on her second offense and she could go to jail. She's literally at that breaking point. And running away from her problems is something she cannot do anymore. I don't think that she's taking care of her father because he deserves it. I don't think it's coming from that place. I think she is also confronting her demons, and she's facing it head on. Devon, I think, is a person that wants to be grounded, and that's completely fine. Not everyone in the world wants to be successful career-wise or having a lot of money. And Devon is a person, I think she wants to be successful of taking care of others and taking care of herself. And I think that's where her true success will come from. Going back to Simone. Simone is the absolute opposite of Devon. Devon is grounded and Simone wants to be free as a bird. Which is great because they're running a nonprofit for birds. That's such a good contrast in all of this. Simone wants to run away from her problems and never return home. She never wants to be confronted with, those issues, so she pushes them away. I think Simone got to a surface level of healing to where I think she is functioning well, but I think it's time for Simone to go a little bit deeper to a place where healthy attachment and loyalty comes from, because she's lacking in that department. She's unable to give the people that she love or love her the love and loyalty they deserve as well. Which makes me think about, why did Simone betray Michaela in the end? Why did she do it? And I think Michaela really loved Simone. I think she really did as a daughter, as someone she wanted to nurture. But for Simone, she has already had people love her. Her mom loved her, her dad loved her, Devon loved her, but those people also hurt her as well. Devon left her. Her dad made the situation worse and allowed her to be taken by the state to go into foster care. And her mom did the absolute worst, which was trying to take her life as well as hers. And for Simone, she couldn't trust that love was enough. Love wasn't enough protection for her. And that's why she didn't feel comfortable completely telling Michaela everything that happened at the time that it happened. She wanted to keep her and Ethan's relationship separate. Because she doesn't want to upset her. She doesn't want to lose her position as her assistant. She didn't want to lose her love. And she didn't want to tell her about the kiss. She didn't want to do it. Being confrontational is a problem for Simone. And that's why Michaela had to fire her, because she has continued to lie. And she would have continued to lie to Michaela to make her happy. She would. And then going to the relationship she had with Ethan, it seemed like it was a good escape for her as well. From being in Michaela's whole world, she would go to Ethan, and that was a private moment for her to truly be a version of herself she wanted to be. And she told him a good story in the sense that she went to Yale, she came from upstate New York, and she could live in being that person for a bit with him. And the moment Simone and Michaela had that conversation about what she really wanted to do with Ethan, after hearing Michaela describe him as not being as financially well off or as respected as Simone would have liked, I think she no longer wanted to be with him. Like, he was no longer the big cheese that she thought he was. And that completely deterred her from wanting to be with him. And you saw that switch go off in her head. She had no more love for Ethan. She was done. She didn't want to reconcile. She didn't want to do anything with him. She just wanted to be in the best position that she could have. And that wasn't with Ethan anymore. And this also goes into the new culture that we're developing as a society with mental wellness, in the sense of letting go of things that no longer serve you. And this is one of the extreme situations. I think it's amazing to have the ability to let go of things that are holding you down. However, it does make you unpredictable. It does make you flighty, and it does remove that satisfaction that you get that with sticking with something through the end and getting a reward at the end of it. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but there are downsides to letting go of everything that may no longer serve you. And that's why Simone was able to let go of Michaela, let go of Ethan, and I think she will be able to let go of, with the downsides of the letting go culture per se, we become people that are easy to let go of things that are not serving us in this immediate moment, but will serve us in the long run. But you're not sticking through on that journey to see the rewards, and that can be hurtful as well. It was heartbreaking to see how Simone allowed the relationship between her and Michaela to deteriorate to a point where they could no longer trust each other. Simone trusted that Michaela would take care of her, and Michaela trusted that Simone would at least be loyal to her. And we become very unpredictable people, and it makes you feel like everything is replaceable. You can just get a new friend, you can get a new car, you can get a new job, and sometimes you won't have those milestones of sticking with something for an X amount of time. Going back to Michaela, she really wanted to give Simone the life that she was never going to live. Michaela was a lawyer in her past life. I say that because it seems so distant from who she is today, but she was a lawyer and she kept her career going for, I think, a while. And you know, when you get caught up in a man like Peter who has so much money, you're doing this, you're doing that, a career no longer becomes important, because the money or the things that you would do that took you months, he can do it in a day. And that's a whole different ball game to even play on. So I understood why Michaela completely let go of that career. It no longer served the life that she was getting groomed into. So being in that life, she was very smart, and she still knew that she was still an employee, but she's now under the company of Peter. She works for him, and she says that. And she even says that to Simone. And she lets her know that if you go down this road, this is what you'll become, which is replaceable. And that's why she wanted to give Simone true independence. She wanted to give her a big salary, a place of her own, and a job that she actually is good at and she would love to do for the rest of her life. And whatever she does with the money or with the people that she's rubbing shoulders with is up to her. And she would have had that space from Michaela as well, because she's been living in and sipping that Kool-Aid. But she would have finally had freedom. And Michaela treated Simone just similarly to how she treated the bird that she had. I don't remember what it was, but you'll see it here on the screen. But she lets the bird go, and as foreshadowing, the bird comes back, but he crashes into the window and it breaks, and it's a big thing. And Michaela experiences that, and it's foreshadowing, of course, for what happens with Simone. Eventually she's going to break the glass ceiling as well. That's also another metaphor. She's going to break the glass ceiling, she's going to break everything, and in the end it's going to end up in sorrow. And Michaela experiences it, and you can see that Devon sees it as well. And when Devon sees Simone for the very last time, she says to her she has to let her go, just like the bird. So with the bird, you're supposed to let them go and let them be free in this world, giving them all the opportunities, the flight lessons, the nourishment, everything, and they're supposed to be great. And if they come back, great, but they're never supposed to come back crashing into you and dead on the way there. That's not supposed to happen. But Devon also, Devon had to let go of Simone as well. And it's crazy because Devon thought she was so different from Michaela, but Devon was a mom to Simone as well, and Michaela was a mom to Simone in this part of her life also, and they both had to let her go. And however it happens, it's already been foreshadowed, so you know how that will turn out, but it was heartbreaking to see them let go of her. When you have obscene amount of money, there is no need to grow up and think, oh, what am I going to do for my career? Because you can literally do anything. If you want to go to the moon, you can do that. And it's just insane just seeing, you don't see the actual money, you don't see the watches or the jewelry per se, because experience here is true wealth. Waking up, having a private chef, having people think for you or arrange everything, that is a different form of wealth that we're seeing here, and that's the wealth we're seeing, not the jewelry or the monies or the cars or the jets. We only hear of the jet, we never see the jet, and that's intentional. But we see how much people have to consider their feelings, their movements, have to do everything for them. And that's like true wealth, what we're seeing in the show. Next, I wanted to talk about the people that were around Michaela, the three women. I don't remember their names, and they said it so many times. That's so important. They said it so many times, but you still don't remember their names because they're not actual people. They are, but they're not. They are placeholders, and everyone in that position is replaceable. And that's why it's important to be careful of your actions and your words. And that's why Simone keeps a lot of things away from Michaela. If you do anything wrong, if you say the wrong things, you get put out of that circle. the next thing I wanted to talk about was Peter. My gosh, Peter tricked me. I thought he was cool, like he was a little scary at first. He was so unpredictable. He makes you feel safe, and then he does something so unexpected. I really thought his relationship with Michaela would last to the end of the season. Unfortunately, it didn't end up that way, and he replaces her, which she knew deep down that he would. But it makes me think about, does anyone truly know him? When Devon has those conversations with him, you can see that he doesn't really like to open up to talk about anything. And it's kind of similar with Simone. They don't want to talk about things they don't want to. And Simone now has all the money in the world to have that respect where people won't come to her with questions she doesn't want to answer. Peter strikes me as a person that wants it all. When he had the conversation with Devon and Simone's father, he heard him say that he wanted, some men get satisfaction from accomplishments, some men get it from money. And then Devon's father said, some men get it from their kids and all of that. And what's important is if you remember, and if you have those memories of it. And I think Peter really took that to heart. And you see him go on and on in the series about how amazing it was to see his grandkids, to see his kids again. But I don't think he truly ever wanted a relationship with them. I think he wants things that he can't have. And what's scary is he'll sit down in the situation for a lot of years. He did it with Jocelyn, he did it with Michaela, and now he's going to do it with Simone, where they get a lot of good years out of it, but then he's going to eventually change his mind because he wants things he can't have. He knew he couldn't have Simone, and that's why it made her more enticing to chase after it and give up everything for it in the end. But don't get it confused. He also wanted loyalty from Michaela, and he felt disrespected. And that's one of the reasons why he divorces her on spot as well. But he truly loves the chase. When in the same episode, instead of like preparing for his grandkids and his kids to come to this amazing gala, this function, he meets with Simone, divorces his wife, and then makes Simone his new girlfriend, instead of actually preparing for his grandkids to come and actually enjoy the time that they will be spending with him. So he doesn't actually care. Like, he has them on the plane coming here, so he's already achieved that. But what he's going on to is the next thing on the next thing. And it's the same thing that he wants a child now, assuming with Simone. And it's because he couldn't have that with his relationship with Michaela. And when he gets that, he's going to be tired of that as well. He's always been rich, so he has always had the time and the resources to have a good relationship with his kids. He didn't want that. And he put the blame on Michaela to say it's all her fault, the kids don't like her and he can't have the relationship. No, he didn't foster an environment for everyone to get along properly, because he's not doing things in the way that it's supposed to be done. And he doesn't care because he has an insane amount of money to not give a F. He doesn't care. He's just gonna move on. And I think in the end, he's just a person that wants to feel something. Sometimes the money can make you so numb. Money is really good in a hard time because you've gone so long without it. But when you've always had it, it feels like nothing. And I feel like he wants to feel something in this moment. I really wanted to end this with talking about Michaela, because she's the true MVP of the series, of the ending. She did an amazing job. She took her exit so gracefully, and in the end, I just loved her. I loved how she still continues to provide an environment of just empowering people. She tried to do it with Simone, and in the end, she said to Devon, like, a last piece of advice: cash the check, do it. Even though money wasn't important to her before, she understood the importance of money. And I'm like, Devon, ugh, you guys are so horrible. I don't need your money. Like, yeah, I don't want the money, but it could help. It could really help. And she helps Devon to just do what needs to be done. And yeah, so to wrap things up, it was an amazing ride. It's not where I expected it to go, but I loved where it ended. But yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and see you in the next one.